50% of marriages end in divorce. That is a statistic everybody knows about. Though virtually nobody goes into marriage expecting to get divorced, everybody who gets married is conscious of the fact that they are making a coin flip, making a 1 in 2 bet on a plethora of emotional, legal, and financial issues if things go south. Though I'm fully aware of this, I'm actually getting married pretty soon, and I feel very safe doing so. I won't go into every reason why, not only because that would be redundant, but I also don't want to make it seem like I have all the answers to something as complicated as marriage. That said, I do want to cite one reason which is relevant to the topic of this video. One of the primary things my fiancé and I have tried to do is be honest and upfront about our faults, perceived or not. This is key, because I don't want my fiancé to marry a false persona that I project to her. Inversely, I also don't want to marry a flawless ideal that I project onto her. Though there are many things that lead to divorce, they all stem from one single factor. The person we marry was not the person we thought they were. And oftentimes, that person wasn't the person we thought they were because we projected that false ideal onto them, or they projected that false persona to us. When those false images break down, our true selves come out, and sometimes we will choose the pain of divorce before we choose the pain of self-reflection. Prior to making this video, I noticed that there aren't that many movies where divorce was the sole focus. I think the reason why is that it's hard to elicit entertainment when the main subject is the horror of divorce, and it's even harder to find an audience who will pay to see it. Unlike most horror movies, where the horror is the entertainment, divorce is the opposite of entertaining. It can be done, and it has been done. Heck, there have been comedies centered on divorce, but often, things like, say, accuracy will be sacrificed for entertainment. It would take the keenest artist to present the subject of divorce and all its horror in a balanced way, one that is accurate, artistic, and entertaining. Of the media that I have encountered in my life, I only found one that, for me, matched these criteria: Possession. Released in 1981, Possession presents a worst-case scenario for a marital breakdown, one that makes its main characters, literally, lose their grip on reality. While this descent into madness is disturbing and makes you reflect on the horror of divorce, the madness is presented in such an artistic way that you can't help but feel entertained by it. As the main characters slip into insanity, the film uses various techniques to try and mirror that insanity in the audience. A character will supposedly say something, only to deny they said it soon after. The camera will continue to pan to the left or to the right, long after the subject of the shot will fall off screen. These methods, and many others we will soon discuss, provoke a novel sense of disorientation that simulates the madness of the main characters for the audience. There's really nothing else like it. You will try, like I did, to impose an understanding of what is going on with the main characters and the world around them, much like those doomed couples that impose a false ideal on their partner. But there will always be something that challenges that assumption and thus returns everything to a state of chaos. There is a sort of Lynchian entertainment to be had in trying to figure things out, but there's also a deep horror it elicits, because of how similar it is to the feelings of insanity that can be brought on by divorce. The fact that this film is able to unite these opposite sentiments of uncomfortable disturbance with genuine entertainment makes Possession, in my mind, the most underrated horror film from the 80s. This opinion is bolstered when you add in the fact that the film basically made no money, a fact that really sucks when you consider that the director of Possession and its two primary actors genuinely suffered to make this film. Thankfully, the quality of the final product was so great that it retroactively garnered some of the praise it always deserved, by gaining a cult following. Unfortunately, I believe that it will always deserve more. Now normally at this point in the video, I provide an analysis of the subject while also, if necessary, explaining any confusing concepts. Possession provided me with a unique challenge, however. The film's embrace of the abstract, with its inconsistent sense of time and sometimes supernatural occurrences, make a complete distinguishing of reality and fantasy impossible. While this is the whole point, to convey the madness, I do like to try and understand disturbing material to lessen its effect on me and my audience. While I might not be able to explain every aspect of the film, I can give a clearer picture, clearer than the film does, about why the marriage between the two main characters broke down, and the factors that caused both of them to lose their grip on reality. And as I hinted before, it does have to do with the projection of false ideals. At the beginning of the film, we learn that the character Anna, played by Isabelle Adjani, cheats on her husband Mark, played by Sam Neill. For much of the film's first half, the audience is left to piece together why Anna made the decision to commit adultery. Though Mark's poor behavior does play a role in motivating Anna to cheat, being away at work for extended periods and potentially engaging in abusive behavior, he doesn't seem to be the primary factor. We'll explore Mark's responsibility later, but for now, we'll focus on what I believe are the primary factors motivating Anna's behavior. Around the film's midway point, Mark receives a tape from Heinrich, the man that Anna cheated on Mark with. In this tape, Heinrich films Anna making a series of statements, ones that are pretty difficult to penetrate the first time you hear them. They almost seem like they're improvised, because they don't link together very well. However, by writing her words down and reading them a few times, I realized that they explain so much of not only her behavior, but so many of the seemingly unexplainable things that happen in the movie. One of the first scenes we see in this tape is Anna as a ballet instructor. She drives one of her struggling students into distress through her demands for perfect form. The student eventually breaks down and runs away in tears. Anna then argues that what she did to the student was beneficial. By making her feel righteous anger, she will, from now on, be able to assert her own will. Anna then suggests that for most of her life, nobody took her to that same point, where she felt capable of asserting her own will. She lived life passively, doing what others expected of her. Being with Heinrich enabled her to assert the will she never thought she had. To use her words, Heinrich brings out the quote-unquote I in her. Things become a little bit more complicated with the next section of Heinrich's film. Here, she expresses conflicting emotions about her newfound will. She feels a sense of guilt for asserting it, obviously because she is married and has a child. Thus, she is possessed by the need to fulfill these two roles, that of a faithful mother and wife, and that of a freer spirit. Though this isn't made explicit with the words Anna chooses, like I said before, it is hinted at. She formulates these opposing forces within her as two sisters, one called Sister Faith and the other called Sister Chance. To best understand these two sisters, it will help to envision them as yin and yang. In Chinese metaphysics, yin and yang, chaos and order, are opposing forces that are found in every aspect of the universe, including and especially human beings. One cannot live with the other, but they also cannot live without the other, in the same way that light cannot exist without darkness. These opposing forces are at war within Anna. The side of her that wishes to be a freer spirit, Sister Chance, is chaos. The side of her that wishes to be a faithful mother and wife, Sister Faith, is order. Quoting Anna directly, "My faith can't exclude chance, but my chance can't explain faith. My faith didn't allow me to wait for chance, and chance didn't give me enough faith." Faith can't exclude chance in the same way that light can't exclude darkness, in the same way that order cannot exist without chaos to define it. Chance can't explain or give enough faith because chaos constantly undermines faith. and Faith didn't allow Anna to wait for Chance because Faith cannot make room for anything that threatens it. Just as chaos and order are viewed as morally neutral in Chinese metaphysics, Sister Chance and Sister Faith are as well. However, it is their conflict within Anna that is possessing her, leading her to immoral and sometimes unhinged behavior. This conflict has been going on within her for a long time, and as the film progresses, we see her reach a breaking point. She cannot pick one side or the other, nor can she reconcile the two. Therefore, she seeks out a third option. Quote, "But at the same time I know there's a third possibility, like cancer or madness, but cancer or madness contort reality. The possibility I'm talking about pierces reality." To me, it seems like Anna can no longer stand a reality where these two sides of her are constantly at war. So, she will create a new reality, and she will do this by giving into insanity. After all, when one is insane, the laws of reality no longer hold, and the opportunity to create a new reality becomes possible. We witness the literal birthing of this third option, this new reality, with what is without a doubt the film's most memorable scene. There is one point in the movie that I cannot show on YouTube without getting demonetized. I can only describe it. Anna is alone in a subway station early in the morning. Here, she starts to ooze blood and other fluids from her body. In the scene immediately following this, she explains this horror by saying that she, quote, miscarried Sister Faith, and what was left is Sister Chance. Her insanity caused her to miscarry the side of her that was once relegated to the realm of metaphor. Now, all that is left is her chaotic side. But like I said before, chaos cannot exist without order to balance it. So how does she balance it? Anna lives in a derelict apartment away from Mark. Mark sends a private investigator to track her down, and when he arrives there, he discovers a Lovecraftian creature of sorts. Where this creature came from is unclear, but I have a theory. See, we eventually learn, at the very end of the movie, that this creature is evolving into a second Mark, an ideal Mark that can fulfill Anna's needs in a way that the original Mark never could. Just like Anna willed the metaphor of Sister Faith into existence so it could be miscarried, she also willed the second Mark into existence. This Mark would provide the order to balance her chaos. He would be the Mark that she originally thought he was when she married him. He would be the projected ideal come to life. The final and most obvious piece of evidence to support my perspective involves Mark himself. Though his madness isn't as obvious and explicit like it is with Anna, it is present. Just as Anna projected a false ideal onto Mark when she married him, and just as Anna willed that false ideal into existence, Mark did the same. Mark willed Helen, Anna's doppelganger, into existence. A woman that not only looks like Anna in almost every way, but acts in the exact way that he wants. Helen is the faithful, loving wife and mother, the one that Mark expected Anna would be when he married her. For Mark and Anna, it was easier to become insane and will a different reality into existence than to confront their own misconceptions, and what those misconceptions say about themselves. They chose to project negative qualities onto each other, instead of seeing how they could be at fault. When they tried reflection, they were either too far gone, or unwilling, or incapable of change. In the end, they were possessed by the false ideas they had of one another. And that possession became so strong that those ideas willed themselves into existence. Do not think that you are unsusceptible to this type of madness. Sam Neill and Isabelle Adjani, to use their own words, barely made it out of this film alive. They made it as believable and horrifying as it was because they allowed themselves to inhabit the minds of these fictional characters. they too allowed themselves to be possessed by the same demons. Thanks to them, however, they suffered, so we might not. Though I learned the importance of not projecting false ideals onto my partner long before watching Possession, due to my pre-existing interest in psychoanalysis, the movie reminded me of the benefit that came with that lesson. It has made my relationship with my fiancé something indescribably beautiful, and has made the prospect of marriage look less like a coin flip and more like something that will strengthen not only our bond, but ourselves as people.